This past weekend, Donald Trump appeared at the New York Young Republicans' 111th Gala to double down on his claims that he does, in fact, want to be a dictator on day one. And obviously, Trump had originally made those comments during a recent town hall with Sean Hannity on Fox News. Trump knew exactly what he was doing because he knew that the media was going to pick that up and say Trump is admitting that he wants to be a dictator, because he literally admitted it. Of course, he says just on day one. But Trump got everything he wanted by making that statement. Everybody in the media, by the way, myself included, we had to talk about that. That is a horrific claim to make. So Donald Trump then used that, the fact that everybody in the media talked about it, trying to throw it back on the media as misconstruing his words. And then, of course, he doubles down on it. So take a look. Here is Trump manipulating the media. And then, of course, saying he totally wants to be a dictator. Here he is.
Bad. Baker today in the New York Times, he said that I want to be a dictator. I didn't say that. I said I want to be a dictator for one day. But the New York Times said, and you know why I wanted to be a dictator? Because I want a wall, right? I want a wall, and I want to drill, drill, drill. That's true. So, build the wall. Well, we did. We built a...
The troubling part of that clip is not just Donald Trump reaffirming that he wants to be a dictator on day one, which wouldn't just be day one, he would do it forever. The terrifying thing is the reaction of the audience. That's what we need to be worried about. Because you see, what Donald Trump was doing there, by reaffirming that, yes, I want to be a dictator on day one, not only was he trying to, stick it to the media by saying they're misconstruing this because they're leaving out on day one. Nobody left that out, by the way. He's now testing the waters. He initially made the claim on Sean Hannity's program to see if he could get his names all over the headlines, and he did. Now, he's seeing how that line resonates with the base. Do they like it? Is this something maybe I can... Maybe I can push the boundaries on it a little bit. Maybe I can extend it. Maybe later on I'll say I'll be a dictator for the first week. I'll be a dictator for the first month. I'll just be a dictator for the first year. And when he said for a day, they cheered. It was raucous applause. They broke out into their chant of "Build the Wall." They loved it. That crowd of New York young Republicans is more than willing to shred the Constitution and proclaim that Donald Trump is now the God King of the United States of America. It reminds me of that line from Revenge of the Sith, the third Star Wars prequel, where Padme says, so this is how democracy dies, with raucous applause. I don't know the exact quote, so please forgive me for getting it a little bit wrong there, but that's literally exactly what we just saw. So this is how democracy dies. People going crazy, loving it when Donald Trump is telling them, I'm going to be a dictator. There was a time in American politics, less than 10 years ago, where if any politician on the left or right had ever said anything like that at any point in their life, long before they got into politics, their career would be dead. They would not ever have a chance at running for office. And now we have a guy who's going to be at the top of the Republican ticket, 91 felony charges against him, telling us he wants to be a dictator? I mean, Jesus Christ, we're looking at a guy that is going to be a convicted criminal by the time the election rolls around and telling us he wants to be a dictator. So likely convicted criminal telling us he's going to be a dictator, and the crowd goes wild for it. Maybe that's what we deserve as a country. If we're going to let this happen, then we just deserve it at this point, right? Well, no, I'm not willing to go that far yet. because that crowd at that New York Young Republican Gala in New York is not representative of the majority of people in this country. I know the polls right now do not look good, but trust me, folks, Trump's going to keep saying crazy stuff like this. A lot of people are going to wake up when it comes time to, put the rubber to the road and actually vote. They're going to remember things like this. Because if not, then America, we had a good run, but it's over.